Today's technology has allowed us to view the universe from the comfort of our home. There's tools that can be used to help us see the wonders of the universe, and one of the most famous ones is that of Google Sky. Google decided they wanted somewhere where people could explore the far reaches of our universe. Using Google Sky, you can see many famous celestial bodies, and over the years it's provided us with some breathtaking views. However, some people have come forward and said they found some interesting things. These anomalies have gone on to create various conversations about what could actually be out in space. Google Sky says the reason you can see these incredible sights is thanks to the advanced Hubble Space Telescope. The Hubble is the first optical telescope to be placed in space. Over the years, scientists have used Hubble to observe the universe and distant planets. This telescope has sent us back some incredible images over the years. The Hubble explores the universe 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and it's operated by a team of specialists on the ground. This recent Google Sky discovery, however, had some saying that it looked very similar to Oumuamua, which gained popularity as being the first known interstellar object that was detected travelling through our solar system. This mysterious visitor was discovered back on the 19th of October in 2017, and astronomers and the scientific world were amazed and puzzled when they noticed this strange-looking object travelling through our solar system. The object in question had come from another solar system, and was quickly given the name of Oumuamua. What stood out about this object though is that it seemingly appeared out of nowhere, which in turn caused many to ask questions. When researchers were able to lock onto the object, they could see it travelling around the sun and then shooting away again. This recent photograph has caused some to speculate whether this and Oumuamua are the same thing, suggesting that these mysterious interstellar objects are scattered throughout our solar system. This particular one was discovered close to the Orion constellation. The person who discovered the object said they were messing around with Google Sky, and zoomed in really quick on Orion. They took a screenshot of the object as they thought it looked interesting, before closing down the app. They then showed a few people and it was them who made the connection between the two objects. One of the first things you'll notice is that they are very similar in appearance. Although some at first suggested that Oumuamua could have been of extraterrestrial origin, scientists and researchers then came forward and said the most likely explanation for Oumuamua is that it's a comet. However, some have questioned this as NASA themselves have reported that the interstellar visitor is 10 times as long as it is wide, and that this aspect ratio is far greater than any asteroid or comet observed in our solar system to date. This information has caused people to put forward their own theories, which range from Oumuamua being extraterrestrial in origin, to it being an advanced satellite that was passing through. Another interesting thing to note about this object was that researchers said that it showed a really strong non-gravitational acceleration. This tells the researchers that its motion indicated that gravity was not the only thing dictating its path. For years, people have been detailing their encounters with Bigfoot. This elusive creature has divided people over the years. Some think that the humanoid exists in small groups, while others have said that it's not possible that such a large humanoid exists. They point to the fact there would need to be a large group of them to survive, and if this was the case they would be reported a lot more often. Others however disagree with this notion, and have said that for thousands of years now man has been encountering these giants. All over the globe there have been reports of them, from Tibet, America and even Australia. There's no shortage of stories. Ancient myths credit these creatures as having run-ins with humans, and when this happens it doesn't usually end well. Some have even managed to record some of their mysterious calls, and when given to scientists they've said that humans are unable to make these kinds of noises. One of the things that researchers have struggled to do however is present hard evidence. Although casts and footprints have been taken in various national parks across the world, researchers and skeptics have said these can easily be faked, and that it doesn't prove that an unknown humanoid is walking our planet. What's interesting though is discoveries have been made by some that could counter this argument. One of these comes in the form of an actual hand. The photograph was posted with the following statement: "As if 2020 couldn't get any more strange, a buddy of mine found what appears to be a Bigfoot hand getting chewed on by a cougar." When the photograph reached Bigfoot groups, it generated a lot of discussion, with the majority of people believing that this hand was the real deal, and that it did belong to a genuine Bigfoot. As some have pointed out, it's not known what happened to the hand after the photo was taken, but some reports suggest that the cougar returned to finish off the meal. One of the biggest questions when it comes to Bigfoot is why we don't see their remains. Some have pointed out that if they're sharing our planet, we should be seeing them more often. Bigfoot researchers have countered this though and explain they stay away from humans, further saying that they inhabit the dense forest regions of our planet, being mostly found in national parks and other large forested areas. Some noted, however, that every so often someone will come across Bigfoot remains, but they have usually been chewed up by a local predator. Others went on to say that they have seen similar looking things while exploring national parks. So is this the proof that we've finally been waiting for? Well, according to some, no. Some have offered an explanation for what we're seeing. One idea is that instead of belonging to Bigfoot, it actually belongs to a beaver. Some, however, have said the object appears to be too big to fit the description of a beaver. As of right now though, not much information has been released about the photograph, so a positive ID cannot be assigned to the hand. Interestingly, many have reported their own sightings in national parks across the planet. Going back, the Washington State Department of Transportation posted the following on Twitter: "Sasquatch spotted. I'm not superstitious, just a little stitious. Have you noticed something strange on our Sherman Pass SR-20 webcam before? If you look close by the trees on the left, there looks to be something. Might be a Sasquatch. We'll leave that up to you." One person went on to say the following: "Is the story that is a cardboard cutout that you guys put there because you were bored and wanted to generate some social media presence?" To which the Washington State Department of Transportation replied with the following: "It's not a cardboard cutout. I've never been up to the camera. There have been items put in front of cameras by locals in the area for 15 plus years. Just happened to notice this the other day when I was going to give a road conditions update on the pass. Then this happened." They also said that it wasn't photoshopped. One person said the following: "Although this photo may turn out to be fake, I've seen many mysterious creatures in this region. I'm someone that spent over 20 years in the outdoors and I've only encountered 4 of them. They are very elusive. They'll be gone before you can get close to them. This is why they are notoriously difficult to photograph. I've tried every single time I encountered one, and each time the photograph looks terrible. They move fast and are usually too far away to be picked up in a detailed image. I have no doubt in my mind that these ancient creatures exist in small clusters around our planet. I think soon that we will get proof. However, in all my experiences, they don't seem keen on humans, and always try their best to keep a distance." Others, however, said the image showed gaps in the trees, and this is creating an illusion that something is there. Perhaps one of the most interesting Bigfoot stories is that of Albert Osman. The year was 1924. The gold rush may have been over, but that did not stop Swedish immigrant Albert Osman from giving gold prospecting a go. After spending years in construction and logging, Osman decided it was time for something different, and he thought he might as well get a little vacation out of it while he was at it. He had heard a rumour of a gold mine near Toba Inlet, near Vancouver, BC, Canada. The area was lush with trees and surrounded by mountains, the perfect getaway from his recent year-long construction job. He hired a local indigenous man as a guide to the head of the Toba Inlet. The guide was a talkative man and told Osman tales of the area. One tale even involved the alleged gold mine. According to him, there was a heavy drinking white man who would come and go from the mine, always having gold to spare. But one time he never came back from the mine. They suspected that a Sasquatch had taken him out. He described the creature as having hair all over its body, but stood upright like people, and they were big, approximately 8 feet tall, big enough to leave 2-foot-long tracks. Osman had never heard of such a creature and brushed the tales aside as folklore. Once the guard had dropped him at the site, Osman asked him to come back for him in 3 weeks. He would camp back at that particular spot once he was finished with his prospecting trip. Over the next week, he worked his way over 10 miles into the wilderness on the hunt for the elusive gold mine. After some time, he came to the spot that he deemed perfect for his permanent setup. He was only there one single night when strange things started to happen. Osman awoke after a deep, heavy sleep to discover that his entire campsite had been disturbed. He hadn't heard anything the night before and blamed it on an animal. On night 2, his backpack had been emptied. He noted that food had been taken. Instead of going out to look for gold, Osman hung around the camp, hoping to catch a glimpse of the culprit, but nothing showed itself. On the 3rd night, he was determined to stay awake. He needed to know what was lurking in the darkness around his site. That, however, proved to be impossible. Having obviously fallen asleep, he was awoken by something picking him off the ground, still cocooned in his sleeping bag. After being dragged and carried for what he believes was 3 hours, Osman was finally dropped. He described hearing 4 voices, speaking in a language he didn't understand, but it was too dark to make them out. As the sun came up, however, he got a good look. There was 4 of them, and he described them as an old man and an old woman, along with a young boy and a girl. He estimated the old woman to be over 7 feet tall and 500 pounds. The old man was even bigger than that. He was sure that his gun would not affect the large man, except for maybe angering him, so he sat and contemplated his escape. The family of Sasquatch kept him in a small valley for days, occasionally bringing him sweet roots as food. The young one, who started out shy, eventually took an interest in him. He made them water ladles and tossed them old snuff cans to play with, and that's when he came up with his escape plan. He'd once heard a story of a man blinding a bull by throwing snuff into his eyes. Next, he threw the young boy Sasquatch another snuff box, this time with a teaspoon of snuff inside it. The boy tasted the snuff and then took it to the old man. It was obvious they enjoyed the taste of it and came back for more. Osman then knew he had to get the old man to eat the whole box of snuff, and then hopefully he could escape. Because of the interest in the snuff, the old man kept getting closer to Osman, eventually grabbing a box and pouring it into his mouth. He swallowed it in one gulp, before licking the box clean. After a few minutes, the old man became sick. Osman saw this opening and ran. Using his rifle, he shot warning shots as he escaped. He miraculously was not followed. He made his way down the mountain and finally into a nearby camp. He merely told the locals that he was lost, and did not mention the sight of a Sasquatch until much later, fearing being called crazy. Needless to say, he never tried prospecting again. For years, ancient humans would have looked up to the night sky. One object they were well aware of was that of the moon. It's been detailed throughout the ages, and during the space race we were able to put man on the moon. However, ever since this moment, many strange things have been put forward by various people, questioning man's intention on the moon, and that if there's other things going on here that we are being kept in the dark about. One structure said to be present on the moon is that of a pyramid. In fact, amateur researchers have said the moon's surface is full of them, and that this could prove that it's not only humans that's interested in this celestial body. Theories started to run wild after NASA shared an interesting photograph taken by Apollo 17. Interestingly, the space agency listed this photograph as blank, and when first looking at it, this does appear to be the case. However, when people increase the brightness and contrast, it appears that this photograph is not blank, and features a rather large looking structure which many have compared to a pyramid. One thing that is certain is that these images are genuine. They were uploaded by NASA and can still be seen today. Although some have put forward the idea that these images could just be lunar equipment, others are not so sure. Due to this, it's only caused researchers to become more interested in these anomalies, causing some to spend countless hours searching through old images in order to try and find similar anomalies. Those who have dedicated their time to this have found something interesting, and this is that these pyramid-like structures seem to actually be quite common on the lunar surface. Interestingly, the most recent pyramid to have been discovered on the moon was made back in 2019. Photographs soon started to make their rounds on social media, with various theories being put forward in order to try and explain what people are seeing. It seems that there are two types of people when it comes to these anomalies. There are those that think these structures should be taken seriously, and that scientists and researchers should investigate them further, while others have said that the most likely explanation for what people are seeing is lunar mounds, and even pareidolia. It's also been suggested that the angle of the images is hard to study, with some saying that these pyramid-like structures could be tiny. However, this has been countered by some, as they have said you can compare them to their surroundings, and some of them are in fact massive. Believers in these images have also said that it's clear what these structures are, and that pareidolia can't be used in this argument as some of the images are clear. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration have denied there's any pyramids on the moon, and have explained these structures as being part of the lunar surface or that of pareidolia. So what do you guys make of these pyramid-like structures on the lunar surface? Do you think they are genuine or just part of the moon? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Recently, various people across the planet have been detailing mysterious things in our sky. People have described them as looking like asteroids, but what's odd is that some people have said that as these objects are coming towards our planet, they suddenly change direction. This has caused some to speculate that these objects are not asteroids, but rather something more mysterious. This photograph was recently published in MUFON, which stands for the Mutual UFO Network. They are responsible for keeping a record of thousands of UFO sightings that get reported across the planet. The eyewitness said the following: "It was 9:18 on the 17th of March 2020. We were in lockdown due to what's going on, and Bristol Airport was only receiving 2 flights a day from Dublin. I know this because my wife is an immigration and customs official at the airport. In normal times, planes and trails across the sky would be a commonplace. In 2019 we had a loft extension. This is now our bedroom, and we have some fantastic views over the city. On the 17th of May I looked out our west-facing skylight window and saw the strange line going up vertically near a block of flats. I showed my wife the line. Then, as she stepped away, I caught a glimpse of a black dome saucer-like object sitting just above what I assumed was a chemical trail. I called my wife, and when she came back, the object had reached the clouds and continued up. Oddly, in the darker clouds the trail seemed to be lighter as it went up. The movement of the object was pulse-like. It spurted for a distance, then slowed, then spurted again. This seemed to be the pattern of propulsion. It was vertical, so not similar to the aircrafts that would normally fly over horizontally. I then checked the flight radar app. No planes were flying in the area due to lockdown, apart from a flight which was at Bristol Airport from Dublin. I then checked my night sky app, which wasn't showing any abnormalities. Around an hour later, Venus became visible slightly to the right. I had been watching Venus move across the west for the last 3 months, so was very familiar. no military vehicles were nearby on flight radar, and there was no known rocket launches in Cardiff or Bristol, because rocket launches don't happen in the UK. A drone seemed unlikely given the trails. As mentioned, so far many people have come forward in detail seeing similar looking objects in our sky. Some have put forward the idea that these objects could be from space. NASA and the European Space Agency have reported several objects that have come close to our planet in the last 12 months. Interestingly, these are only the ones we know about. NASA have been quite open about the fact that every so often an asteroid will approach us that we're not aware of. This happens because the asteroid detection machines don't always pick up every celestial body, and this has made some suggest this is what's happening here. Others went down the route of suggesting that these objects could be UFO related. There's not a country in the world that hasn't reported a UFO, and this has caused some to suggest that this is what people are seeing. As with most of these reports, not much information can be found before they vanish, and it leaves the few people that saw them wanting answers. For years now, NASA telescopes have been picking up on various celestial objects. Although the majority of these are mundane, there are some that have baffled people. We are surrounded by billions of galaxies, and inside each of those galaxies is hundreds of billions of planets. It's one of the reasons why researchers have said that life on other planets is very likely. However, one thing they've noted is that it's unlikely to be how we imagine it. Each planet could potentially host complex life, and be nothing like life on planet Earth. One recent photograph that's caused a lot of confusion is this one. It was photographed close to the Orion constellation. However, various people have put forward different theories for what this object is. Some have said that it could have been a cosmic explosion, whereas others suggested it could be of extraterrestrial origin. Further saying that if you look closely, the anomaly appears to be semi-transparent. One person described the anomaly as looking like a jellyfish. Others agreed and said that it could be a giant organism floating through space. One amateur astronomer said that it doesn't look like anything he's seen before. However, as some have pointed out, it's most likely just a space anomaly, and is not linked to any extraterrestrial life. The same can't be said for mysterious signals that have been detected deep in space. Back in 2009, top researchers at the Goddard Space Flight Center sent a device up into space via a giant balloon known as Arcade. Arcade was an acronym that stood for Absolute Radiometer for Cosmology, Astrophysics and Diffuse Emissions, which details its mission as being that of a searching device capable of picking up diffuse radiation caused by the universe's earliest stars. It was a huge surprise then that instead of picking up these weak signals, the Arcade device captured data that scientists have described as a space roar. Although a large amount of radio waves caused by synchrotron radiation was expected by researchers at the Goddard Space Flight Center, what was recovered and analysed turned out to be radio waves 6 times the normal amount expected to be heard, as well as their origin points being from that of galaxies 2.5 million light-years away. This has led many to speculate the possibility that perhaps this enormous amount of background radio waves found in our universe could be that of extraterrestrial civilizations, and their frequencies sent out into the vacuum of space. This could very well be the case considering our radio wave frequencies have been spreading out like a bubble from Earth since the first transmissions. These were sent out a little over 100 years ago, and given the fact that these extraterrestrial civilizations could predate us by millions of years, we could be picking up on the faintest signals that have reached us over a vast distance of both space and time. Scientists struggle to find any other cause for this mystery, and have left many wondering if whether or not we are truly alone in the universe, or we are merely the latest species to tune into an old-age galactic conversation. So what do you make of these anomalies? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.